Welcome back. Welcome back. What a fantastic race weekend we had at the Circuit of Speed in Monza this weekend. What a crazy race. I want to jump right into it and start off by giving a huge congratulations to McLaren, their first 1-2 in over a decade, I think, and Daniel Ricciardo, his first win in 3 years. That's amazing to see. They've built a car for this type of circuit, and it paid off. They are so fast in a straight line. They competed with Max and Lewis, and they didn't just win because those two crashed out, which we'll talk about in a bit. They won by consistently just being fast. They held those guys off for 20 some laps, and they looked phenomenal. Huge congrats to Daniel. He's back in form, hopefully. He was phenomenal. And Lando looked great, closing out 1-2, being willing to take the back seat and let Daniel get the win to help the team. What a phenomenal result for them. I also want to say something that might go a little unnoticed. Seb felt a little bad for Vettel getting run off a couple times, getting bumped. Ocon bumped him. Mick Schumacher bumped his tires. Even Lance, Stroll, his teammate, gave him a little shove, and he lost 3 places. Rough weekend for him. I hope he can bounce back because you like to see Seb do well. Another thing that stood out to me was Checo getting a 5-second penalty for not giving a position back. It's weird. This feels like an error from the Red Bull pit wall. It feels like they're probably telling Sergio to not give the position back, wait for a comment from the stewards. So it's weird in this instance, though. It might have helped them out by holding Bottas up behind them, protecting the McLaren win. Because for a while, Valtteri had an incredible pace. And jumping right on to Valtteri, what a great race for him. The week it comes out, he's not going back to Mercedes, and he has a phenomenal result. Coming from P19 all the way up to a podium finish is a phenomenal drive. Admittedly, the Mercedes should be doing that at a track like this. It is an incredibly fast car in a straight line, so it's not terribly surprising, and it kind of made me think about how this performance almost diminishes the strength of Lewis's performance through the turbo hybrid era. For a car to be able to come from almost last on the grid, save for Pierre Gasly, to then make it to a podium finish means that car is so significantly stronger than all the competition. Obviously, there were safety cars, crashes, but it's still to just tear through everybody on the lower side of the grid. That car is incredibly dominant in this era, and I think it kind of diminishes Lewis's claim to being the best. I think that the level of competition Schumacher dealt with was just higher, with more competitive cars, more competitive manufacturers, and potentially stronger drivers. That's a little thing I might talk about that more another time, but just something that stood out to me. But I don't want to take away. Valtteri had a phenomenal drive this weekend. And the big incident that I think people are going to be talking about for this week until the next race is the incident between Hamilton and Verstappen at the first chicane. I believe it's come out now. Max will be receiving a 3-place grid penalty in Sochi for the Russian Grand Prix. And I personally don't agree with that. I don't feel like that fits the incident that occurred, because I would say this felt like a racing incident, and if anyone was at fault, I would put slight blame on Lewis Hamilton here. Lewis was exiting the pit lane and rejoining traffic. It kind of felt like if you're driving and you have to get onto the highway or the interstate and you're exiting the on-ramp, you're going probably around 30 miles an hour. The flow of traffic is probably around 70. In this case, you're getting onto Monza straight. The flow of traffic is almost 200 miles an hour, right? Probably closer to 180 at that point. And you're merging in, trying to get in front of Max. So you're on cold tires, you're joining traffic, you're slower, and then you try to squeeze Max wide, and the sausage curbs just launched him up. This felt like, honestly, just a racing incident to me. And it felt somewhat similar to Silverstone, where neither driver was willing to cede the position, and there was just a bad result. So I'm very surprised that this results in a 3-place penalty for Max, whereas Lewis's incident, where neither of them gives the position, Max crashes out, Lewis gets a 10-second penalty, and then goes on to win the race. It feels weird. It feels like they're not being treated as similar as they seem to be. I'm glad. It was a little scary when Max's rear tire was on top of Lewis's head, and I'm very happy that neither of them are hurt from this incident. But the penalty seems odd. It doesn't seem to fit the crime to me. But those are the big things I wanted to talk about for this weekend. All in all, it was a great weekend. I thought the sprint race was very cool. I know we did have Gasly crash out, but in general, I think that it's good for the sport as a fan. And I think Liberty Media is probably very happy with the results so far. But in general, what a stellar weekend. And I can't wait to see what happens at the next race. Championship fight's still close. It's been fantastic. And so I'd love to know, what did you guys think of Monza? What did you think of the triple header? And what do you think is going to happen going forward? Are you as happy to see Daniel take the win as I think most of us are? Or would you have liked to see Lando get it? Or do you think the crash, the incident between Hamilton and Verstappen, is my interpretation wrong? Please let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And thank you so much for watching if you got this far. Feel free to subscribe, like if you enjoyed it. And till next time, guys, I appreciate you, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.